From Alaska to New York City, Ben Fogle shares the best places to visit in the USA. Among his many sporting achievements, Ben Fogle rode across the Atlantic with Olympic gold medalist James Cracknell, setting the British pair's record. The broadcaster, author and traveler is filming his fifth series of New Lives in the Wild for Channel 5 at present and is a frequent visitor to the USA. Here he shares his adventures. What has been your most adventurous USA travel experience? To my mind, Utah is the country's adventure hub, a playground for adrenaline junkies. I spent a week there during which I took part in a 24-hour non-stop mountain bike race across the famous Slip Rock of Utah. I also went canyoneering, squeezing through tiny slots in the twisting passages of the canyons, leaping into freezing, water-filled holes and scooting down natural water slides. It's a surreal, Dali-esque landscape. Finally, I climbed the 2,000 meters Castleton Tower, a vertiginous finger of rock often described as the greatest desert climb in the world. It's certainly not for beginners, but the satisfaction of reaching the summit and looking out over the desert below was an unforgettable experience. Favorite part of the USA? I love Alaska. It is such a vast, sometimes desolate, oasis of nature, one of the planet's last great wilderness. I've been lucky enough to visit several times and seen brown and black bears and moose, and orcas offshore. Seaplanes are the best way to reach the more remote corners of Alaska's hinterland. In Katmai National Park, the first paddled in a tiny packraft across an iceberg-strewn lake fed by a giant glacier that occasionally drops huge chunks of ice into the water. In the distance, Katmai volcano dominated the horizon. I also visited Homer, home port for many of the cast of Deadliest Catch, the documentary series about crab fisher folk who work the notoriously tough Bering Sea. Favorite city? It sounds like a cliché, but New York City. It has an energy like no other city I've visited, raw, gritty, beautiful and crazy. It's an urban cocktail that infuses the world on one tiny island peninsula. I spent several years working for the broadcaster NBC, so became familiar with its different areas. I would run through Central Park each morning and walk along the High Line. New York City is electric and energetic, and requires work. You need to walk the streets and soak up the unique sounds, smells and flavors. Best trip ever? For our honeymoon, I took my wife Marina on a road trip from San Francisco to Los Angeles along the famous Big Sur. Described as a national treasure, Highway 1 is often named the most popular road in the USA. It's big and dramatic and rugged. We drove a pickup truck along the twisting route, watching as the Pacific Ocean pounded the cliffs below, took photos on Bixby Creek Bridge and visited some of the state parks. Your most relaxing destination? Florida. We used to have a little home on the Gulf side of the state. It was sandwiched between a manatee-filled waterway and the Gulf of Mexico. Siesta Beach on Siesta Key, a barrier island on the Gulf Coast, is annually voted the best beach in the USA for its fine, talc-white, 99% puri quartz sand. You'd spend the morning running, then relax on the deserted beach and later go canoeing in the Everglades. Like much of America, Florida is a diverse, eclectic state. It was also here that I learned how to scuba dive in the calm Gulf waters. Most memorable meal? The USA is a paradise for foodies. I once ate rattlesnake in Texas, but that was memorable for all the wrong reasons. One remarkable restaurant is Rice to Riches in Manhattan, which offers every flavor of rice pudding imaginable. I love rice pudding. I had the best sushi I have ever tasted in New York City, the best burger in Chicago and the best seafood in San Francisco. I have sampled bear in Alaska and catfish in Augusta. My current favorite is also one of Barack Obama's ABC Kitchen in New York, with its Hamptons vibe and fresh, organic food. Best piece of travel advice? I've learned to be a ruthlessly efficient packer wherever I travel. I only take hand luggage. It adds to the sense of freedom, especially when it comes to outdoor adventures. We're next Baja California, which is split between north and south, and shared with Mexico. I have always been attracted to eccentric landscapes and have long wanted to explore the Sea of Cortez with its rich marine life. I'd also love to explore Maine. I'm returning to Texas and Utah to film some of the wild men who featured in my series New Lives in the Wild, about people who choose to live in the wilderness. The series has taken me all over the USA, from the swamps of South Georgia to the mountains of Appalachia. I love how the USA still has raw, isolated wilderness where you can feel like the only person on the planet. For more information and to plan your holiday, go to visithusa.co.uk.